As a movie collector, there comes a point where you accept that you are a collector and not just a movie buyer. There is a point where you expand your collection a little bit outside your comfort zone. Most people have their core favorite movies or have owned them at some point in their life. But when you start getting out of that, and it doesn't matter what the number is, if it's 100, 200, 1,000 or more, depending on however many you have, once you go outside your core favorite movies and you just have movies that you enjoy, then you start to become a collector. And once you go that route, you tend to try to find the best versions of the movies. And I have always done that. But I've been buying movies for over 25 years, and so there have been times where I've what they call double dipped, where I've bought a movie on one format, whether it be VHS or DVD, but then I've upgraded when the new format has come out. If there's like a cool box set that gets released, I've upgraded and bought the movie multiple times because those are my favorites. Now, I don't do that all the time, but I have gone from VHS to DVD. I was an early adopter of Blu-ray, so I got rid of all of my DVDs and I got right into Blu-ray. But right as the 4K started coming out, I was noticing that all my favorites weren't available. There were movies that I owned on DVD that have never even seen a Blu-ray. So that got me into that really hardcore collecting of finding just movies. So I collect a little bit of all of it now. I still have VHS tapes and DVDs. And what I've gone down is I've gone down this rabbit hole, and I kind of blame two of my other YouTube buddies. Chase over at AV Pop Culture, he has one mentality about collecting, and my other buddy Brian over at The Last Movie Standing, he has a whole nother mentality about collecting. And that got me really thinking, was I doing it wrong, or maybe you should be collecting with a purpose? And I was just buying all the movies that I absolutely loved, movies I enjoyed, and along the way I would upgrade some of them. I would get the boutiques if they were available, and then I would almost always trade in my older set to put towards other movies. Chase was talking about how he was back into collecting.
I'll be back.
As he's coming back into it, he's trying to find the best, the most definitive versions of the movies. And it got me a little jealous of, like, if I had paused on my collecting and buying and getting into it now, I would be able to jump in, I think, at the very best time in movie collecting, where there's so many boutique labels available and so many cool versions of your favorite movies are out there in the world. But then I was talking to Brian, and he was saying that he has this collection of movies that he absolutely loves, and I'm going to let him tell you all about that, so I don't want to ruin anything. But he has this collection, and he buys as many versions of the movie that he can find, and he finds some cool things from all around the world. Those two concepts combined brought me into this passion. I have always saved my VHS tapes, my DVDs, and my Blu-rays every time I have upgraded of my absolute favorite movies of all time. The Fifth Element, Leon the Professional, Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters, you know, some of these classics that I've absolutely grown up watching and I've really loved. But then as I started going down this rabbit hole and finding some absolutely amazing boutique labels, I came across this, and I don't know why nobody talks about this, but this is a Korean release of Leon. It is so ridiculously shiny that I have to turn down the lights just to take a picture of it. Just a mirror finish, absolutely beautiful slip box. The spine is perfect, and this comes out of Nova Media. This is a Korean release, but the great thing about it being a 4K, it'll work on all players. And then the Blu-ray is not region locked either, it's all. So the stamp on here says A on the Blu-ray, but on the box it actually says all regions. This is in a 100% English. The menus are in English, and there is Korean words next to the English words. This is comparable in price to what the 4Ks are coming out brand new. So if you take off shipping on this, on a brand new version of this movie, you're around the same price. Now this right here is just an amazing version. It's just a whole better package. This is the interior. This is what you're getting. It's just a simple case, but the quality is 100%. This is something of like the quality we used to get back in the day when they first launched DVDs, that thicker, nicer case, but you're also getting attention to detail. You're getting images that aren't usually seen, and this is just great. But then the back of this, you have another image from the movie. It's perfect. And this being a 4K, this has the same transfer, I think, as the American version that I've been used to watching, but this, I think, has a slight uptick in the color grade because there was one scene in the very beginning where there's a red car in the street, and I felt that this one had a little bit more red in that car. Nothing distracting, nothing over tinted. I just really enjoyed everything about this version of the movie. Now, when you open this up, I absolutely love the attention to detail. I've talked about that many times before, but not only do you have an image on the 4K disc, you have a completely different image on the Blu-ray disc. So something that's really enjoyable there. And as you take these out, these are just, I think it's an incredible package design for the price point. I think is absolutely amazing. This being something that I don't think anybody's even talking about is top notch. This blows the American version out of the water. The menus in this are motion menus. You don't get that anymore in the modern releases here in America. And a lot of people have their own opinion as to why. My opinion is corporations are gobbling each other up, and so all these companies are being folded into the next company, and everything's going to streaming, and everyone's trying to save a buck. That's where I feel we're not getting the best quality anymore, and it shows. Like, the package on this is just absolutely amazing, and when you compare it to the standard edition here that we got released in America, this here is just a simple case. It's not an Echo case, but comparing the two cases, this one is kind of flimsy. You have boring plain images on the Blu-ray and the 4K. I believe all the special features that are available on both discs are available on this Korean release, but this one had some kind of fax essay. I think that's the only thing that's missing, but other than that, it's the exact same. I think it's the same transfer. It has the same Dolby Atmos. I didn't notice really any differences between the two versions, but overall the package is so much better presented. And then this uses the cheaper quality plastic that has that off-gassing, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera when I take these discs out. And with this one specifically, every time I use it, I have to clean it or the disc doesn't read in my player because there's some shiny smudges. All those shiny smudges is like oils that are being off-gassed from the chemicals that are being used to make this plastic. And then that transfers onto the disc, which gives you that film, which gives you an unreadable disc. And there's different ways to clean it, but more on that later. Separate from the package design and how everything just really looked physically holding it in my hand, the menu differences were awesome. This one here comes with motion menus, where this comes with a boring static screen with multiple slides. So you have to get to multiple, right or left or down to get to where you need to change the language, or you go to the scenes or find the special features. Where this one, it's in a standard, everything's at the bottom in a bar. You have the motion menu with the soundtrack going in the background, but also the Blu-ray didn't just copy and paste that menu. They had a whole different thing. Now the format was pretty much the same, but it had different music and it had different images. Where the 4K had a black and white menu screen, the Blu-ray had the color. Plenty of these on eBay. You can order directly from them, and they do offer shipping. I don't know the exact prices and everything, but everything was converted into US dollars. So when I added a few movies, it came up to a certain price, and then it had a shipping that I thought was fair and comparable to any of the other movies that I had bought in other countries and I had shipped over to me. Prices vary depending on what it was. I saw some Blu-rays anywhere from like $20-something all the way up to 4Ks being about $40-something. They also have steelbooks in these slip cases as well. And so for every collector, you're going to have different things that you're into, and they offer a little bit of a variety. But this is the definitive edition. This is the one that I'm going to be watching from now on, unless I find a cooler set. But this one here, I'm so glad to have this in the collection. And if you are looking for a way to enhance your collection, you're looking for something to just expand it, or you're a fan of one specific movie that they have, Nova Media is something you should definitely try to get into. I don't know why nobody's talking about it, but these are just absolutely amazing sets. And when you think of quality, I honestly don't think of Korea. It's not my first thought. But then I was talking to a friend of mine that actually lives over in that area of the world, and his response was, Koreans love beautiful things and they like beautiful people. That was his response. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm going to take his word for it because he lives over there. 100% hands down the way to go. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what boutique labels that you love that nobody's talking about. Check out this video right here.